Good morning, everybody. So, not quite as many exercises in today's workout, a little bit more core focus, and even though the four first exercises are primarily lower body, there's a fair amount of upper body involvement too, so definitely enough upper body mixed into just these first four exercises, and some of them are kind of combination exercises. So we're going to start with an RDL, using some resistance around our hips to really help us focus on that hip hinge, right, and using those glutes to work for it so that we're not forced to always use our hamstrings and or our lower back. So really working on that hip extension and getting the glutes turned on. So you want the band like basically right at the hip crease. A little downward angle will make you feel about kind of pulling up and lifting. What you don't want to do is lift and extend the rib cage forward, right? You want to keep the rib cage engaged, and it's the hips that come forward through the power of glutes. Okay, enough said. So you want some crazy heavy dumbbells, but enough to feel, something in your RDL. So we're going to put a slight bend to the knees. Shoulders stay retracted, core stays braced, hips reach back, and then at the top, really feel the hip squeeze forward, glute squeeze, without extending the rib cage. Hips hinge back, bend still you back a little bit, and then you're going to really squeeze forward against the band at the top. Sort of pretty stiff band. I mean, you'll get the feeling without much resistance from the band. It'll make you think about kind of what's driving. You want to try a fairly stiff band or a doubled up band. You'll get a little bit more connection. Just a few more like that. Keeping the shoulders connected down back, right? Not letting that upper back round. I would say, depending on your weight, 12 to 15 of those. Once you get this kicked on, I think that one gets a little bit easier as you go. It should actually feel pretty satisfying when you really get those glutes squeezing. The next one we're going to do is kneeling to stand. We're going to use a band and a dumbbell for this. So you can use a looped band. If you're going to use a band with handles, I would put one handle sort of underneath your foot and then hold the band somewhere on the band's length to find the right tension. Just try and use the same tension on both sides. So you're going to start at the bottom of the range of motion so that you can get the weight extended. If you're trying to extend at the top, it's going to be really hard to get that shoulder. So we're going to lock the shoulder down, lock the rib cage down, stand up, keep the shoulder locked in position, and come back down. Pretty challenging move. The dumbbell is totally optional. So, same thing, second side. Depending on how much weight, you'll know when your shoulder starts to fatigue and can't keep it stable anymore. You might need to get 6 reps per side of this. If you're using a lighter weight or just a band, maybe you can get 10 reps. On this one, really important to keep good, strong form. So locking the shoulder down, trying to keep that rib cage steady. When you get to the top, raising the kneecap up, squeezing the glute. And I would say this one in particular, really important to start on your more challenged shoulder side. That's definitely my left side. So start on that side. That's going to kind of help you set your rep range, right? Which you want to do the same on both sides. All right. Whew. That's a good one. So the next one we're doing a lateral lunge. Instead of just dumbbell resistance, I should use some resistance around around our legs. So I'm going to wind a band, tie a band right above your knees. You'll probably manage to hold the dumbbell as well as you want. If you do, just goblet style, right? Don't let it swing away from you. Try not to use it as momentum. So same as all our other lateral lunges. The working leg is primarily the standing leg. As we step out with the band, we're going to get some abductors with those outside hip movers to get the leg out. But as you come in, you're going to be fighting resistance, really using that adductor and the glute hip on the other side. So stepping out, sitting back, and then slowly coming back. Right? There's a lot more power to easier to access on that outside as you come back in. Definitely harder. The band will also force you to think about keeping that knee out to the side. So I get a lot more of the hip glute activation, glute medius, all that stuff on the side there with the band. So reaching back with the hips and then not letting the legs just kind of slip closed, right? Really controlling the way back in. Again, you can use no weight, you can use just a little bit of tension. You guys be the judge of what works for you. All right, so 8, 10, 12 on each side, depending on how much tension you have, and really working on trying to feel that burn. All right, so last exercise in this circuit is a big complex. So we're going to go single leg walkout, back, single leg walk back, stand up, reverse lunge. So pick a foot, any foot, pick up the opposite knee. You get no weight, so right, if taking your hands to your feet is not going to happen with like perfect, super straight back or neutral spine, right? You have to curl a little bit to get down. That's the nature of the beast, right? So you're going to bend the knees as much as you can, single leg squat. Walk out, push up, walk back, stand up, reverse lunge. So, totally a little bit of everything on this one. Do the next one from the side. Single leg balance. Make sure I've got enough room. Single leg balance, down into that squat. Walk out, push up, walk back, stand up, reverse lunge. So I would stay on one leg. 5, 6 reps per side is enough on this one. Just make sure you do a good push-up. If you want to skip the push-up, skip push-up. If you need to walk out with 2 legs, and then transfer to a single leg push-up, you guys call. But that's how it goes. So a lot of balance, a lot of core, obviously some upper body, a lot of lower body, a lot of mobility, a little bit of everything in that one. All right, so the last 3 exercises in today's workout are all core exercises. Some sort of back and stability exercises. So the first one is sort of that. We're going to set up in a reverse tabletop. So if you have wrist issues, you may want to set up some dumbbells so you can keep your wrists like this. You can keep your wrists stacked and underneath your shoulders. If you have some shoulder issues, just keeping that sort of neutral fist will take some of the pressure off the shoulders. All of that is okay. You want to make sure you keep that external rotation, like you're trying to twist your hands down into the floor, right? So set that first. Lift the hips up. So, and then roll the shoulders down and back. Try to keep the rib cage right where it's at. Squeeze the heck out of the glutes. We're going to extend one leg. Come back down. Extend the other leg, come back down. But ideally, staying totally still everywhere except where the knee lifts, right? Keeping the shoulders back and down. Each time you get back to the start, if the hips sagged a little, re-squeeze that glute. So in addition to keeping the core rigid, right, and not having any extension or extra flexion here, you also got to keep the glutes super lifted and squeezed so that you're not dropping a hip. So a little bit of all of that there. Next exercise is going to be a bear hold with a shoulder tap. So it holds on the kind of high plank shoulder tap. This, I think, harder than that, just in terms of keeping the hips even. So really important to get a good bear setup. Squeeze into the block. Scoop that belly button under the lower rib cage. Roll the shoulders down. Hands need to be a little bit narrower, right? Keep everything squeezed. Butt squeeze, core squeeze, shoulders stable, and then nice slow tap. Try and keep the wobble as minimal as possible. And really keep this locked in, right? If you need to reset, if you need to drop the shoulder tap and just hold the bear, squeezing into the block takes a lot of the movement out of the hip flexors, right? So you really, these are sort of busy, and the adductors are busy with the block, so a lot of other stuff has to fire. So enjoy that one. Whew. And then last but not least, I'm going to do a variation on that side flexion. So I think you need a pretty light band for this one. So you're going to step over the band and into that low lunge position. Squeeze that back glute so it's activated on that side. You're going to raise the weight up in the opposing hand on the side that's got the knee bent. Sink that shoulder down. Try and keep the rib cage even to start. We're just going to flex to the side. Control the weight back up. So this way, you got a little extra work to do to come down and pull up. So not only am I working on keeping that shoulder stable, but it was as I'm coming down, right, this is pulling out just a little bit, so it's actually worked to come over this way, and then really forces you to stay controlled on the way back up. Ideally, you should feel this on the inside, mostly on that inside oblique, where the bending and the bend is totally optional, or the weight is totally optional. Or both are totally optional. This in and of itself can be made a good exercise without any of the other stuff. I get lots of padding underneath that back knee, so no complaints to stop mid-set, fix the knee. Okay, 7 exercises, a couple of challenging ones mixed in there, but as always, pick what's right for you, sub something else out or in, get a couple of arm movements in, you guys know the drill. Have a great day, happy weekend, see everybody